Sessions denies any wrongdoing and is slamming his critics.
I think it was hyped beyond reason, and I think it was unfair. I don't believe anybody that was in that meeting would have seen or believed I said one thing that was improper or unwise. And it was really a sad thing to be attacked like that, but I think we've explained it, and we intend to move forward.
President Trump is also backing Sessions, saying he has total confidence in his attorney general, and then tweeted, quote, "Jeff Sessions is an honest man. He did not say anything wrong. He could have stated his response more accurately, but it was clearly not intentional. This whole narrative is a way of saving face for Democrats losing an election that everyone thought they were supposed to win. The Democrats are overplaying their hand. They lost the election, and now they have lost their grip on reality. The real story is all of the illegal leaks of classified and other information. It is a total witch hunt." Meantime, Democrats say Sessions' recusal is not enough and want him to resign, as others are demanding he return to Capitol Hill to explain his testimony. Watch.
I found his explanation simply not credible. You don't, I think, treat a visit in your office by the Russian ambassador as something casual, something not memorable.
The United States Attorney General should be brought back to the Judiciary Committee so we can know why he apparently falsely denied that he had meetings with the Russians.
It is clear that the recusal is not enough. This is the top law enforcement officer of the nation. He was under oath. And when you lie under oath, that's called perjury, and you go to jail for doing that.
All right, so Juan, I know you're going to have some strong thoughts on this, but let's go first back to how Jeff Sessions is firing back here, calling the criticism hyped and unfair, and then he has the president backing him up, saying this is a total witch hunt.
Well, I think they're politicizing it. I understand it.
They're politicizing it.
Extremely. I mean, a witch hunt, that's what a witch hunt is you're going after somebody really with no basis or justification, Sandra. And I think that's what they're trying to suggest, that this is all about politics. In fact, in the president's tweet, he refers to the election and that there's sour grapes coming from Democrats who still can't believe they lost the election.
Not the first time we've heard him say that.
Right, but that's what the president's saying, I think. So that's why I say politicize. Because I don't think there's any debate, and Attorney General Sessions, formerly Senator Sessions, was very clear in a statement yesterday when he came before the cameras that he felt he had made a mistake. He could have been more forthcoming. He said he should have gone a little slower and thought about his response because he had met with the Russian ambassador. And the fact that he then has to come forward and say, yeah, I did have 2 meetings, in fact, that doesn't look great for the man who's our top law.
Are you in the camp that the recusal is not enough and that he needs to...
No, I think recusal... In fact, I think that he did a great favor to President Trump because he's added to the integrity of whatever findings come from the FBI. I think that he has said, I am standing by the recommendations of my own staff. So he's made it very clear that he's doing the right thing. But the politics of it are large because I think there's so many on the right specifically who say, where's the evidence? What is this about?
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Because there's some people on the left, too. Okay, so Adam Schiff comes out of that same meeting yesterday with the chair, okay, with the House Intel chair. They come out of the same meeting, and one says, no, we don't have the evidence, we need whistleblowers, right? Nunez, the chair. And then the guy on your side of the political aisle says, well, I can't really talk about what is there. That would be talking about an investigation. If you have evidence, all you have to do is say yes or no. So I'm curious to see what evidence that they're looking at. What are they trying to prove?
Well, no, I had a different readout.
Something untoward happened in
I have a different readout from that meeting.
Because
as I think,
you want to talk about politics. Why isn't it enough for him to recuse himself for other Democrats? Why
no. I'm saying I thought it was enough, but I'm saying I understand people
why is it not
who
enough for
we just saw in that package. I think people feel that especially now, when you have a critical issue confronting our top law enforcement officer, for him to have put himself in a position where his credibility might be questioned because he wasn't forthcoming, he didn't tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in his confirmation hearings, it opens the doors to politics and people who are highly critical of him.
But there was even a sort of an admission from the president himself that he could have made his statement more accurately. Sort of a concession coming from him. Is that going to be enough, Megan?
Listen, I think this is why transparency is so important in all administrations, why you have to have an absolute crackerjack communications team working for you. I think this is a communications problem more than anything else. I saw a tweet last night that showed the Russian ambassador present at Donald Trump's address this week, and I was shocked. I was like, wait, so he's coming to address this? He's gone to the White House. He's met with Claire McCaskill. He's met with many senators. So this is my problem with this. Is clearly, and he came under an Obama State Department project. That's why this ambassador was present at the speech this week. So this is my problem with Democrats right now. If you're going to accuse Jeff Sessions, if you want him to step down, come out, have the chutzpah to accuse him of being a mole between Russia and the campaign. You have no evidence. And at this point, my biggest problem is for those of us, again, I've said this on the couch and talked to you about this at length. For those of us that have actual problems with Vladimir Putin, the fact that he's bombing hospitals in Aleppo, the politicization of this takes away from real concerns about Russia. And again, if you're going to go after Jeff Sessions this way, you got to go full blown and accuse him of being a mole for the Trump campaign, but all of you have no evidence to do it, and that's why you're not doing it. And in the meantime, if you have a problem with Russian ambassadors being present places, don't invite him to speak in front of our president at the biggest speech of his presidency thus far.
I'm trying to dig down deeper and deeper and understand what's the there. I mean, I don't understand. At the very end of the day, as we continue to make these connections and say this one met in this office and these people had this phone call, what is it that we're after? Was there a quid pro quo? Are we looking for evidence of a you do this, I'll do that? Or like when President Obama said, I'll have a lot more leeway in my second administration or whatever it is. I mean, what are we looking for, and how in God's name, if it's there, have we not found it yet? Because everybody's been working on this for so long. That is the question that I was asking Juan. What are they after to prove? Because when you look at someone I've known her whole political career, Senator Claire McCaskill. When I lived in Kansas City, she was a local prosecutor. Right. So when you look at the arc of her career, she's not a woman who's known for not remembering big events. Yet she tweeted about meeting with the very Russian ambassador and couldn't remember when she was asked about it, but said, well, it wasn't like we had set up, it wasn't like had reached out to me or I had reached, I don't know how it came together, but y'all met.
No,
you did it more than twice. You did it more than once. You did it twice.
The distinction she made is that she didn't have a one-on-one meeting with the ambassador. It was in a large group.
Neither
that was her distinction.
Hold on.
Wait a second. Let's agree on one fact. The ambassador came to the senator's office of Capitol Hill.
It wasn't
the other people came in, but it was an arranged meeting.
Let me get in here and make it very clear that there is no proof of intention, and that is the president's point. He could have made his statements more accurately, more clearly for the American public. But there's no proof of, or any evidence of intention to mislead the public.
No. But the question, I'm sorry, just give me a second, Megan. Yeah, of course. My point was that when you have people who are, for some reason, not owning up to these meetings, it creates an ambient of suspicion. People are like,
you're saying you believe that was purposeful.
Why is Mike Flynn not telling us he had meetings and then suddenly we discover? Why is he deceiving the vice president?
Mike Flynn's gone, by the way.
Yes, and why is Jeff Sessions having meetings and then coming before the Congress and not saying, yes, I had a meeting? What's the big deal? What's he hiding?
The problem for me, again, is that if this man is allowed to be present with all of our elected officials to listen to our president speak, he can't be that nefarious of an individual. So having Jeff Sessions meet with him after Democrats and our former president have also met with him.
That's a great point.
What is nefarious?
But so let me bring this back to the politicization of this that you started out with, Juan. And are Democrats overplaying their hand here, as the president is suggesting?
100%.
Well, I think they are, because I think that the recusal really was sufficient. I don't think that there's some arguments. I think we just heard some people say, well, he might be guilty of perjury. I just think that's pushing it too far, and I think it puts the Democrats in
because that's what Nancy Pelosi said in a written statement.
Clearly, everybody, from, as you pointed out, Sandra, the president to Jeff Sessions have said, he should have handled this differently. I don't think there's any argument about that. But I will say this. Allow me to finish this point.
Go ahead.
That when you hear people say, what's the evidence? Because I think Melissa was asking this. What are we going after?
What are we going after?
But I think you got to remember, Melissa, now Mike Flynn is gone, as Sandra pointed out. Jeff Sessions and all of this controversy, people who were the Trump campaign manager, Paul Manafort, had to leave. Carter Page was on TV last night. He was an associate of Trump saying, yes, I had meetings with Russian officials. And now you get things like, Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, saying, yeah, I was in one of the meetings with Mike Flynn. And at some point you start to think about, no, but remember the CIA, the National Security Agency, the FBI had put their name on and stamp on a report that said Russia was out to undermine democracy, damage and denigrate Hillary Clinton, and they favored Donald Trump.
Well, that was a great preview of what's coming up on Outnumbered. We're going to be talking more about that in a little bit.
Oh my gosh, it's a heat wave.
Hold on, bring it. All right, tonight be sure to tune into Special Report. Brett Baer will be talking to House Speaker Paul Ryan. They will discuss all the big issues going on right now, including the recusal of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Russian interference in the election, and the push to repeal Obamacare. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox News Channel. All right, well, new fall